Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the statistics of how many makeup products I've already used up this year. We're going to go category by category and then the total amount. And I'm also going to share with you the average amount of usage it takes me per category to use up that product. Maybe it can help you to estimate how long you would need for your product to be finished. Obviously, this is kind of the makeup that I wear, so you can judge from that. And I wear makeup every single day unless I'm sick. So that's also something to keep in mind. It can also help to calculate the years of makeup use that it will take. Like some people kind of estimate from the amount of empties that they've had in a year, how long it's going to take them to use up their entire collection in certain categories. Like, for example, if you've used up 2 foundations in a year and you have 8, it's going to take you 4 years to finish up your foundation category, right? I do that at the beginning of the year, but this is more like a mid-year checkup, and I thought it could be interesting. I've seen a couple people over the past months to also do a version of this. So I hope you're gonna enjoy that. I hope you're gonna find that fascinating, because I love statistics and numbers when it comes to makeup. So yeah, let's get right into it. So I have a spreadsheet of my makeup inventory, then I have a spreadsheet of all of the different categories within and the products within those categories, and then I have different spreadsheet or sheet for my makeup usage, where I have individual products in their categories and how many times I've used these products, if I do count them. There are certain products in my collection where I don't count the usage, or I just started counting usage. So for some of these, I don't have number of uses for the empties, but we're gonna base that off of what I do count currently in my spreadsheets, if that makes sense. And then I have one spreadsheet where I literally just have lists of empties with the amount of usage it took to empty those products. And underneath that, I also have a statistics of how many of these empties were from different categories, like how many of these were eye primers, liners, lipsticks, etc., etc. And that helps me to kind of also calculate the amount of years it's gonna take me to use up that category. And for the video that I'm gonna film around January, February. So I hope this sounds fun. Please like this video, comment down below if you enjoy these more spreadsheets type of videos and more talking about usages. And please consider subscribing. We're getting really close to 2K, and I would appreciate seeing you around and having you around. I do upload every single day. There's a lot of penning projects and penning content, but also just talking about makeup, using makeup, get ready with me's, and just talking about stuff that are makeup related. Also, I do a lot of duping. I haven't filmed all that much lately about duping, but I will get back to it. Mark my words. So I feel like I have lipstick on my teeth, but I don't see any, but I feel like I have. Anyways, let's get on to it. So from the categories. So when it comes to face primers, I've been able to use up apparently 2. Let me pull it out. Oh yeah, I know which one. So I've been able to use up the Essence Jelly Grip primer, and then also the Wet n Wild Impossible primer. The Essence Jelly Grip took me 109 uses, and I believe it's a 50 milliliter bottle. And then the Wet n Wild Impossible primer took me 63 uses, and I think that one is 30 milliliters. I don't have the bottle with me, I think, but that one is smaller. And to be honest, that one was a lot thicker, so you use way more amount to actually cover your entire face. The Jelly Grip was very jelly-like, as the name suggests. So on average, primer will take me around 86 uses to completely use it up, and 86 uses is almost 3 months, obviously, which isn't bad, but also I don't normally use face primers. I've been using these because they've been in my collection for over a year and I felt like I should use them up. Also, I've been wearing a lot more foundation lately because I'm banning foundations. But normally on my like daily usage, I just use sunscreen. I don't need primers. So yeah, technically over 80 uses on average, but I only have 2 face primer empties so far. I have one more face primer in my collection and I'm not really focusing on that one, but I am using it once in a while if I feel like I need it or if I don't have my sunscreen next to me and I don't want to go downstairs. So that's for primers. And I don't think we're gonna have many empties for the end of the year because, as I said, I only have one more primer in my collection and I don't think I'm gonna focus on it to use it up unless like I'll find out that it's like a holy grail and that I can't live without it, but I don't think that's gonna happen because I really love my Korean sunscreens as primers. Then I've been able to use up one setting spray and I don't have any usage numbers for that because honestly, I don't use setting spray on my face. I usually just have like a really small bottle. If I have setting spray, I just have small bottle of something very cheap from the drugstore just to wet my brushes if I wanna use shimmers with a brush or if I wanna wet my brush for water activated liner and I don't wanna like get up to go and, you know, pour a bit of water. In like a little container. So setting spray for me doesn't make any sense to count the usage because I don't use it on my face. I just spray my brushes with it. So we have one empty and I don't think we're gonna have another because I currently don't have any. And the one that I had was teeny tiny bottle and I was using it for maybe a year. Then after setting sprays, we have powders. I don't have any powder empty yet. There is one powder that I'm working on in my rolling project pan, and that one I have already used over 100 times. And this is how it looks like after 100 uses. And I have used up a little bit over half of the total amount of weight. So we're still probably looking at another 100 uses to have it finished. So powder is something that would take me like maybe 9 months to use with like an everyday regular usage. But that's me, like I've been powdering a lot more lately because it's like very hot, but when it's gonna be cold outside, I don't think I'm gonna powder, or if so, I'm just gonna use it on my forehead and maybe like on my chin. So yeah, like I would say that probably there isn't a chance for me to use more than one powder unless it's like a mini one. This one has 8 grams. So like the full amount of product is 8 grams. So, but again, that's just me and I don't reapply powder throughout the day. Maybe some people like reapply, then it would be different. And also this is pressed powder, maybe loose powders are quicker. I've never used up any powder in my life. This is my first year actually like using powder. Well, okay, I have used up one powder, but honestly, most of it was because I was frankening it into blushes, not because I was using it as a powder. So I have no clue how long it takes to actually use up a powder. And your guess is just as good as mine. The next category is blushes, and I have one blush that I was able to use up so far, and that's a liquid blush. It's the Essence Baby Got Blush, liquid blush in the shade Coral Crush, which is one of those like squeezy tubes, kind of like the Charlotte Tilbury magic wands or however they're called. And that one took me 75 uses to completely use it up. I am quite heavy with my blushes, I might say. And that one has 10 milliliters of product, so I would need like around 7 to 8 uses to use up 1 milliliter of that product. I don't know how many grams that was, to be completely honest. I could pull out my rolling project pan spreadsheet, but I don't want to. But yeah, 71 uses, so technically 2.5 months. It's a small bottle, like 10 milliliters isn't too much. It's kind of like concealer. And yeah, I use way more of it than a concealer. And also this one was quite sheer, so you can get, like, you can use it very heavily and it's not gonna look like you're over blushed. At least, like, to me, like, this to me is a very appropriate amount of blush. But for some people this could be clown makeup, but for me this is appropriate. Like, I wouldn't say that that's a lot of blush. So yeah, take that as you will. I know that some people use blush for like 500 uses without even using it up. So it really depends on your own style and your own usage, but for me it was 75. Give or take, maybe I had some usage when I wasn't counting it, but I don't think so. I think this one I was tracking, unless I would forget some days, but I think I was tracking this from but I think this one I was tracking the whole time. So that's one blush. Then we have foundations, and I was able to use up one foundation. And the foundation that I was able to use up is a cushion foundation. It's from Peri Peri. It's the Cushion Cover Foundation, I think that's how it's called. And that one took me 118 uses, and I think it had 13 grams of product. But honestly, for me, the amount of product I was able to use up from that foundation was like something over 11 grams, if I remember that correctly. So I think what they also count in the weight is the sponge inside of the compact. The one that you take the product out of, like the cushion that is soaking the product. So for me, it took 118 uses, so 3.5 months of everyday use. And as I said, 13 grams of product. Normally foundations have like 30 milliliters or more, which means that it's like 20 to 30 or more grams. And this one had 13, so it's like half of regular amount of foundation, or even less than half for some bottles. And that was over 3 months. So I would assume that normal foundation will take me maybe like 6-7 months of constant everyday usage. I don't use too much. I've been a little bit heavier lately because A, I'm not going anywhere, so I don't care how it looks like, and B, my foundation that I'm currently panning and I'm almost out of, so that's gonna be the second foundation empty this year, is getting very liquidy, and it's just like there's a lot of product running out of it when I try to apply it. So that's more just like me not being quick enough to stop it and like close it. Yeah, but 118 uses, which I think it's quite a lot if you realize that that's like a half of regular amount of foundation. So yeah, probably regular foundation would, in that compact or like in that formula, would take me over 200 uses. So almost 3/4 of a year to use it up. Also, the cushion foundation, I was using it as a concealer as well. So I was using it like over here as well as on the face. I used it more like a BB cream, like just spot concealing. I wasn't using it as like a full face of foundation. For example, don't use foundation on my forehead. And I usually just focus it like over here and then over here. But like I don't use it in this area. I don't use it in this area. I don't use it on my neck, because usually my foundations fit my neck. Yeah, so for a lot of people, I probably use less foundation, like less amount of product daily than a lot of people, but also I do use it every day if I do use it, and if I'm panning something. If I'm not panning, I wouldn't use foundation. So that's one foundation empty. Then concealer. So this year, yet I wasn't able to use up any concealer. I'm currently working on one that, again, I have used over 100 times. Yeah, over 100 times. And I'm getting close, but I'm not done yet. I think it's gonna take me another month, probably, month and a bit to use it up. So we're probably gonna be around 150 uses with that one. But because the because for the first half of the year I was using the cushion as a concealer as well as a foundation. I don't have any concealer empty. In the previous years I was usually able to use up either 1 or 2, and usually it took around like, this one only has 3 grams of product, so this one is teeny tiny, and I think it's gonna take me around 150 uses, but like the other concealers that I was using prior would take me around 200 uses. I had the Rimmel, the blue one, the Kind and Free, and also the orange one in the same bottle as the Kind and Free. I think it was like Lasting Radiance one. And then I really love the Maybelline Superstay concealer, and all of these took me around like 200 uses, maybe 190 or 220, like it was something in the range of 200. So yeah, majority of the year, because I only do dot under in each under eye, and that's all that I use. Sometimes I would, like if I have redness after acne and I'm not using foundation, I would use the concealer over there, but that doesn't happen every day. On an everyday basis, I would just do this and this on my under eyes with the concealer. So currently no concealer empties, maybe one is gonna happen. Well, hopefully one is gonna happen before the end of the year. Then highlighters, I haven't finished any highlighter yet. This year I was working on 2 in my rolling project pen, but I decluttered them before finishing them because I was already at like 150 uses and we weren't going anywhere and I didn't enjoy them. And now I'm working on this NYX compact, and I know that the pink one I have used almost 100 times, and this one is sitting around 80 uses, and as you can see, this is how it looks like. So I'm probably gonna need another maybe at least 100 uses on both of them to use them up. To be honest, some of the product is clinging to the pan and it's like glued there, I think, because it almost feels like there's a large glue that's holding it to the pan. Like, I don't know how else to describe it, but I still think both of these shades have around, like, I think both of these shades will take me a little under 200 uses to completely use them up, which is a lot. But sometimes I use them together on the same day, like I just swirl my brush in both of them. So yeah, I think this compact would take me probably the entire year to use it, like from start to finish. If I was using this every single day, it would probably take me almost the entire year or the entire year. And this one has 2 grams per shade. So there you go. It's like, I'm heavy with highlighter, I think, like I really use a lot, but also highlighter feels impossible to use up. And I have a lot of highlighters, so that's not good. Bronzers, I haven't been able to use up any bronzer. I was working on one in the first half of the year, and I know I've used it around 100 times, but then it got expired, so I had to throw it away. And I'm currently working on another one that I think I've also used like 100 times, and I think I'm halfway done with this, and that's the Essence Baby Got Bronze, and this one has 5.5 grams of product, and as I said, I think I'm like halfway done with it, and I have used it 89 times. So I think this small compact with like 5.5 grams of product will probably take me close to 200 uses, or maybe 200 uses. So again, almost the entire year, and it's tiny, like it's a small little stick. So there you go. I don't even know how long powder bronzer would take. Like, I think powder bronzer would be something that would take me maybe 400 uses. Like, I think that would be really hard, but I've never tried it. So far no empties for bronzers. Then mascaras. I go through mascaras very often, or like very quickly, because I really don't use mascara for more than 2 months. Because after 2 months, honestly, I do use it every day on both lashes, like up and down, like upper and bottom lashes. And after 2 months, it's just really crumbly, and I get like fallout, and it just feels really clumpy, and it doesn't really want to give me the effect that I'm used to. So that's why I call it quit. I know some people use mascaras for longer. I'm not gonna risk eye infection, and also just the mascara doesn't work after 2 months. Like after 50, 60 uses, I genuinely don't get nice effect out of my mascaras. And I'm not gonna spend 15 minutes every day to like try to make the mascara work. That's not happening. If it takes me more than 2 minutes, I'm out. Yeah. So I have used up 10 mascaras already. That's a large number, but 4 of them are colorful ones, and 3 of them are like in a small bottle, and then I had one that I haven't finished fully because it got, I think, expired, or just my eyes weren't happy with it, so I didn't completely like use it up, and I'll explain that later. So the mascaras that I was able to use up is Essence/Princess. I have more than one of these empties, and they took various amount of uses for me to finish them. So the first one that I've used up is the Essence/Princess with 44 uses. Then we have Judy Doll Mascara, the curling iron one, and that one only took 16 uses because after 16 uses, I just couldn't use it more. It would irritate my eyes so much. And also, honestly, in the first 10 uses, let's say, my lashes were quite nice. They were more like on the natural side, but quite nice. But after that, I wasn't able to get a nice effect. And it just seemed like I don't have anything on my lashes, and it was getting really annoying to use. So I was quite excited about the mascara for the first like week, and then it stopped working for me. So the curling iron mascara, for me, it's a no-no. Maybe it's gonna work for you, but I've heard some people say that it's wonderful. For me, it didn't work. So there you go. Also, I've heard people say that it gives you so much lift and then it makes your lashes look like 100 times longer and fuller. They didn't look fuller ever with that, and longer, no. I also wouldn't say that. They were separated, but that's about it. And honestly, not even in a good way, it just felt like my lashes were kind of poor looking with the mascara. So yeah, not great. Then we have another Essence/Princess. I always use the waterproof version, by the way, and that one took me 51 uses. Then we have REM Volumizing Mascara. That one took me 47 uses. Then we have Handayan Mascara in deep green, and that one took me 27 uses. Then we have Glisten White Spectral Lash Mascara. That one took me 46 uses. Then we have NYX Worth the Hype. That one took only 36 uses because it wasn't nice after 36 uses. And then we have 2 Handayan mascaras. One took me 14 and one 18 uses, and they were colored ones. One was white and one was blue. I don't remember which one was which though. And then we have another Essence/Princess with 49 uses. And that's the last mascara. So most of them are the Essence/Princess. And let me count the average use. So in total, between all these 10 mascaras, it took me 348 uses. So on average, it takes me 34.8 uses to use up a mascara. But I wouldn't really trust the average number because some of these were the smaller ones. So normal size mascara usually takes me something between 45 to 50 uses on average, if I exclude the smaller ones or the ones that I haven't used up fully because they were irritating my eyes. So yeah, usually it's like 1.5 to 2 months maximum. And that makes sense. Like usually after 6 weeks, 7 weeks, it's done. And it doesn't work for me. Like it genuinely just doesn't make my lashes look nice, and I get usually like the milias, I think that's how they're called, like the little white bumps on the lash line, and I get irritated and I don't want to risk getting infection. And they also just really feel dry and unusable after that point. I don't know if I'm like storing them incorrectly, but I do always close them properly, and they're together with the rest of my collection, so I don't think it should, make that expire quicker. So that's mascaras. Then we have water, like eyeliners, like for like pencils, eye pencils. And I've been able to use up 3. this year so far. We have the Colourpop brands, which I only have tallied 22 uses because that one broke off and ended up on the ground, kind of like in pieces, so I wasn't able to salvage that. I think I probably used that one more than 22 times, but I bought that one very long time ago, at least 3 years ago, and at that time I don't think I had waterline pencils in my spreadsheet, so I wasn't counting them, so maybe there could have been another 20 uses on it, but I have tallied 20. Then another one is the Revolution Streamline Eyeliner in the shade Yellow. That one took me 104 uses. And then we have the Udens Eye Soul Manage Eyeliner in the shade 09, which is a pale pastel blue, and that one took me 49 uses. So quite a lot of difference, like 22, 109, 104, and then 49. That's a lot of different numbers. And that also depends if it's one of those retractable ones, which usually don't have that much product, compared to for example, like these pencils, these ones from Revolution are gigantic. I don't even know how much product you get because honestly mine is kind of rubbed off at this point because I've used it so much. But let me see if I can find how much there is. I think it says 1.04 grams, but it's very rubbed off, so I'm not completely sure if I'm reading that correctly. Whereas the retractable pencils usually have like less than half a gram, from what I remember. I could be wrong, but like from what I remember, it's usually less than that. Let me just find some kind of random one to see. Yeah, it's 0 point something. So generally these retractable eyeliners have like around half of the amount of product than the sharpenable ones. That would make sense why we have like 104 and then 49, which means that on average it takes me like 58 uses per eye pencil. But again, it just really differs from like the retractable and the sharpenable ones. I think the sharpenable ones will always be around 100 uses, whereas the retractable ones will always be like half of that. So even though I have retractable ones that have taken 100 uses and I'm still not done, it also depends on how creamy they are. Then, so that's liners, like pencil liners for the waterline. Then we have eye primers, and I have used up 4. So first eye primer is the Clionadh Shine On Shimmer Stay Primer. Shimmer Primer. I'm not completely sure how it's called, and I don't have my usages for that. I wasn't tallying it. But I think it was definitely over 100 uses. It was probably closer to 150 uses. So again, I think that one is probably like between 4 to 5 months of everyday usage. It did take quite a long time. And usually glitter primers, I do use up like 2 a year. So I would say it's like around either 6 months or something slightly under 6 months. Then we have the Catcher's Grip The Last Eyeshadow Primer, which is like a jelly primer for matte eyeshadows. And that one I also haven't tallied, but again, I would assume that it would take me around half a year of everyday usage, and I need eye primer for looks like these. Then we have the Art Deco eyeshadow primer, which is like a body primer. I also don't know how long I was using it, but I would say that it was at least 6 months. It took a very long time. I did use it I think last year quite a bit, and then this year also a lot. So yeah, and it felt impossible to use it up. And then I have one colored primer. It's the Glisten Spectra Paint White primer, and I have tallied 19 uses. But when I started tallying it, I already had, I would say, half of the product at least finished from the product, maybe even more than half, and I haven't finished it fully because it started like the stopper started popping out and it started getting really dry and really textured, and it wouldn't want to really like attach to my eyes. to my eyelids, so I had to declutter because it wasn't working anymore. And it made my eyelids really textured and really like, you know, like it wasn't nice. So from the point where I already had like more than half of it done, I have started telling it, and it was 19 uses. If I was actually using it every single day, I think I could have gotten maybe like 80 uses out of it. But I would have to use it every day, and it's quite a thick formula, even when it was new, so it takes a lot longer to apply it on the eyes than regular primer, and on the daily, like 5 times out of the week. When I'm working, I'm just not gonna spend that time on applying white primer, because also then you have to blend it into your brow bone with something that's like skin colored, because otherwise it's kind of weird to have a white base, obviously. It works perfectly for eyeshadows like these, but then you really have to, you know, make it work with your skin tone. Whereas with like regular primers or primers that are more like your skin tone, you don't have to cover them up. So yeah, I don't really have usage for this, but I would say regular sized normal primers, uncolored ones, or the ones that are like flesh colored, it would take me at least, it would take me around 6 months time of like everyday usage. And I usually have one primer for my matte eyeshadows and one primer for my shimmer eyeshadows, and I just use those until they're done, and then I move on to another primer in my collection. I have a couple stick primers and eyeshadow sticks that are in like a beige or skin tone color that I will start using as primers once I'm done with once I'm done with this one from Essence, because I want to dwindle down my eye primer collection, or like products that I would use as eye primers. I want to dwindle that down because I feel like I have too many of them. I think I have like 8 or something. So that's eye primers, and again, the number is an estimate, but we have 4 empties this for the first 8 months of the year, and I think I'm only gonna maybe be able to use up 2 more. Definitely one shimmer primer, and then maybe this Essence one, we'll see. Then palettes, I haven't been able to use up any palettes yet, but I do have 2 palettes in my Pendos palette, and I think one of them I will be able to use up completely, and one will probably be used up like mostly, and I'll have like 2 or 3 shades missing. That's at least my estimate. So yeah, maybe we'll have one like fully finished, like no product left. But so far we don't have any palette empties. And liquid eyeshadows, I have used the 4 liquid eyeshadows, which are the only liquid eyeshadows that I've had in my collection, so I don't have any in my collection anymore. First one is the Menagerie Moonlit Metal Topper in the shade Salamander. That one took me 25 uses. It was quite chunky, and there actually wasn't a lot of product. Like the container for it is this big, but honestly the tube that's inside is like just like teeny tiny little sliver. So it doesn't contain a lot of product, and as I said, that one was chunky, so you would use a lot. Then another liquid eyeshadow is Menagerie Moonlit Metal Topper in the shade Adelie. That one took me 28 uses. I was using that more as a inner corner, so I got a little bit more usage out of it than the Salamander. And also sometimes I use them as a toppers for cheeks, like for my highlighter. Then we have Catrice and Catrice liquid eyeshadow from the Joker collection in the shade Pow. That one took 15 uses. Honestly, that one was even smaller than the Menage. It was teeny tiny. I don't even know. I think it was maybe like 1.5 milliliter or something. It was teeny tiny. And then the other one from the Joker collection was the shade Hazardous, which took me 25 uses. I think the shade Pow was the blue purple one, and that one dried up really fast. And then the Hazardous was more like a green, and that one took a little bit more. And that one didn't dry up as fast. So on average, these liquid eyeshadows would take me 23 uses to finish them up. Honestly, that's also the reason why I don't recommend buying liquid eyeshadows, because for me, first of all, they don't look that great as shimmer, as regular pressed eyeshadows. They're much more annoying to use for me. They do crease more on me. They do look more textured, and they dry up really fast. And also they take up a lot more space. So I will not buy another liquid eyeshadow probably ever again, because it just feels like a waste of money. It costs around the same amount as a single shimmer eyeshadow, and you get just like 23 uses. Normal shimmer eyeshadows would take me maybe like 70 uses. So what's the point? So that's for liquid eyeshadows. I'm glad that I don't have any in my collection anymore, and I don't think I'm gonna buy any. Then lipsticks. So what counts as lipstick is a product that is an opaque color. So it can be either like a liquid lipstick, it can be a bullet lipstick, anything that's a full opaque color on the lips. And that is in a lip liner. And I was able to use up 3. So first one is the Maybelline Vanilla Ink in the shade Peachy, which is shade number 15, and that one took me 56 uses. Then we have another vanilla ink lipstick from Maybelline in the shade Golden, and that one took me 42 uses. These ones were one of the oldest lipsticks in my collection, so I wanted to use them up. And then the third one is Haggard dual-ended lipstick. It has one part is lip stain and one is lip gloss, but I just counted. I usually use both of the sides together until they were used up, and that one took me 46 uses. So on average, these liquid, because all of these were liquids, would take me 48 uses to use them up completely. So around 2 months. I don't wear the exact same lipstick every single day, but I do usually have like 4 or 5 lipsticks that I use on a regular until they're done, and then I get something else from my collection. Like I usually have something that's like brown, something that's more reddish, something that's pinkier, and then whatever, like something darker maybe, or something berryer, or something more like a berry color. So that's that. I don't think I've ever used up a bullet lipstick. I think that one will probably take longer than that. And I do have multiple bullet lipsticks that I should start getting use out of because they are getting older. But I don't wear them very often, which is stupid of me to even own them. But also I don't want to get rid of them because I like the way they look. I'm not very good at wearing bullet lipsticks out and about. I can wear them for video, not in my everyday life because I just talk a lot. So it just doesn't really work all that well for me. By the way, for lipsticks and like any product in my collection, I just count like the days of wear. That's what the uses mean. So like if I reapply lipstick throughout the day, I still count it just as one use for that day because I'm not gonna update my spreadsheets every couple hours if I do choose to like reapply lip gloss. That's just not possible. Usually I reapply these like between classes when I'm teaching. I'm not gonna also go to my spreadsheets and like mark it. That's not happening. And I'm not gonna be able to remember at the end of the day how many times I've reapplied it. So I just counted it as one day. And that's it. For lipsticks, I do usually just use them once that day, sometimes twice if I wanna revive them for like filming in the afternoon. And I've also worn them for my work, but most of the time I don't reapply lipsticks. I do reapply lip glosses. But I know some people genuinely tally every application, but it just doesn't, that wouldn't work with my lifestyle. And then the next category is lip balms / lip oils. I do count balms and oils as the same thing because it's just anything that like nourishes the lips and that is like see-through. And I have one empty, and that's the Catrice Joker lip oil, so the lip oil from the Joker collection. And that one took me 71 days to use it up. It wasn't that large of a packaging, and it was quite a thicker formula, so yeah, but it still took like over 2 full months, and I was using this a lot in the morning. Like I would apply lip tint and then just hydrate my lips with the lip oil, and that would last me all day, at least the work day, and then I would apply like lipstick and different lip color maybe for filming. But that one I really enjoy, and I like combining lip stains with lip oils or lip balms. I feel like that's the comfiest formula for me. It's really easy for me to like work in that, and it doesn't it looks the same all day, or like it fades very naturally, so you don't have weird streaks anywhere. So one lip oil with 71 uses. But for example, then I have like this Catrice lip oil that I have used like maybe 30 times, and we're over here. So that one will take probably like close to 200 uses. So really much, it very much depends on the amount of product, because this one has 8.5 milliliters, and I think the Joker lip oil had maybe 5 milliliters, so it was almost half of the size. Then the next up is lip gloss, and I have used up 7 lip glosses so far, which is quite nice. So first of them is the Unearthly lip gloss from the Devour collection in the shade Havoc. That one only has 11 uses, because after 11 uses I had to throw it away. It was smelling really acrylic paint like, and I wasn't comfortable with that. So yeah, that one I didn't reach its full potential. Also, it was very glittery lip gloss. Like it had so much little particles and was too sparkly. And for lip glosses, I don't want them to be, I don't mind if they have a little bit of like sheen to them, but not glitter particles or like these tiny, I don't like that, honestly. In theory, I do. Realistically, no. So that's one. Then we have Udden's Eye and the shade Dahlia. I think Dahlia is from the Annette Oberstadt collaboration, or Judy's collaboration. One of the, maybe Judy's collaboration. And that one took me 40 days. Then we have the NYX and Wings collaboration, and the Terra lip gloss, which was like minty toned lip gloss. That one took me 46 uses, and that one was quite metallic, but after maybe 20 minutes it would look like a normal lip gloss, so I wasn't that bothered with it. Then we have Udden's Eye Breath of Fire, which is from Annette Oberstadt's collaboration. That one took 56 uses, and that one was more like a thicker lip oil, or like it was thicker formula. Then we have Udden's Eye Mythic Rose, which is also from the Annette's collaboration with them, and that one took 47 uses. And then we have Glamlight's Rivendell lip gloss. That one honestly felt more like a lip oil than a lip gloss, and it was in a smaller tube, like it was quite thin, and it didn't have a lot of product, I believe, because that one only took 29 uses. So in total, that's 229 uses across 7 lip glosses, which means that the average is 32.7, but it does have the Unearthly's one that I haven't finished, and then the Glamlight that was smaller than the regular size of lip glosses. Otherwise, it was usually over 40 uses, like around 45. So depends on the size of the lip gloss, but it definitely takes me more than a month of everyday use to completely use up a lip gloss. And with lip glosses, I do usually reapply them maybe twice, 3 times, depending, you know. If I film a lot of videos that day, or a lot of longer videos, I might reapply more times than that, especially if I've also used that lip gloss at work. If I don't film that long and if I haven't used it at work, then maybe I'm just gonna reapply twice, or like apply it and then reapply it once. So yeah, it really depends on the day. Then next up is lip liner. And for lip liner, I only have a lip liner empty. I think we're gonna have at least 2 more before the end of the year, but for now we only have one, and that's the Catrice Plum Pink lip liner in the shade 069 Manhattan, which is a retractable pencil, and that one took me 32 uses. Honestly, that one was quite creamy. Obviously, retractable pencils, we've talked about it, you don't get a lot of product, and it was kind of like a cooler toned pinky mauvey color. So, and since I don't have a lot of lipsticks in that color, but sometimes I do want to wear that color for certain looks, especially when I do like a cool tone eyeshadow, I would usually use that lip liner also on the lips, like fill my lips in with it, which means you use a lot more product than if I just lined my lips. But that one took 32 applications. I have lip liners that I have used over 50, 60 times though, and they are still not gone. To be honest, the ones that did take that long are sharpenable pencils. I do prefer sharpenable pencils for my lip line. I feel like it's quicker to use the retractable lip liner on a daily basis, but then also you do use it up very quickly. So that's the only lip liner. Then we have brow products. So one category is brow gels and one category is brow pencils. I was able to use up to, 3 brow gels. First one is the Essence Lift and Freeze Brow Glue with 102 uses. Then we have Anastasia Brow Freeze Gel, I think that's how it was called. And that one took 82 uses. And then we have Rimmel Wonderful Brow Gel with 66 uses, which means that these three took me 250 uses to have them finished. On average, that means we get 83 days out of my brow glues, depending on how much product you get. But yeah, it takes around 3 months, which I think makes sense. I don't have to repurchase my brow glues that often, but I definitely purchase them couple times a year. So 83 uses I think makes sense. Usually it is a bit over 3 months to be done with them, and I always take the stopper out of them. The longest brow glue to ever use up was the Got2b brow glue, the one that's in like the yellow bottle. It's kind of like a edge control glue, and then also you can use it on your brows. That one is a large bottle, so that one took maybe 300 uses or 200 something, but otherwise the regular small tubes of brow glue, yeah, I would say it's around 100 uses. So that makes sense. And then we have brow pencils. I normally don't, okay, I told myself that I'm not gonna buy them anymore because they don't really make sense for me to buy them. I usually use eyeshadows in my brows anyways because I have so many neutral eyeshadows that I don't use on my eyes because I'm not a neutral girly. But I can use them in my brows and actually get my money's worth and not have to buy brow pencils because brow pencils are very quick to use up. So I was able to use up 2 brow pencils. I'm currently working on third. And the first one is Essence Micro Precise Brow Pencil with 11 uses. I think it had like 0.01 grams of product. Like it was teeny tiny. And also it was like very micro pencil. So 11 uses. And then the other one is Maybelline Express Brow Pencil. And that one took 41 uses. So considerably much larger amount of product. And on average, it took me 26 uses to use up a pencil. So I would need like 12 pencils. If I were to actually use pencils as like my primary color for my brows, I would need at least like 12 in a year, which is very expensive if you count it. I know they're not that expensive, but if you need 12 a year, that actually costs a lot. Whereas if I just used one brown eyeshadow, I would just need that one eyeshadow and I might not even use it up completely with just using it on my brows. So, you know, cost effective, not very much. And if you have, and everybody has a neutral eyeshadow in their collection. Like if you have at least one eyeshadow palette, you have a neutral eyeshadow. So if that eyeshadow fits your hair color, you can just use it in your brows. And at least you might have an eyeshadow empty eventually in a couple months to years time. So those are all the empties so far, which means that how many empties do we have? So that means we have 42 makeup empties so far in those 8 months, which is honestly more than we've had in the entire last year, because in the entire last year, I was able to use up 39 makeup products. And that also included, I think, 2 or 3 nail polishes. So we're definitely getting better. Also, most of these products have been in my collection for quite a long time. And so they already had quite a lot of usage from previous years, and therefore it's easier to use them up. Whereas if I actually bought all of these this year, I wouldn't have them as empties, probably. But still, I'm like extremely happy. We'll see what's gonna be the total amount at the end of the year, but I think it could be close to 75 products in a year, because there's a lot of lip glosses and lipsticks and these like easier and lip liners and like eyeliners and these easier types of products that I think I'm gonna be able to finish. Like, I've been increasing the amount of monthly makeup empties. Like, I film my monthly empties, and usually they're more skincare heavy, but lately they've been almost half and half with skincare and makeup. And I don't think that's really gonna stop, because I'm getting really good progress on my rolling project pan products as well. So really happy with that. I think rolling project pan really helps me with getting makeup empties, and I do highly recommend trying that. It's really good to like focus on like a capsule collection, like picking up 1 or 2 products per category for your entire face of makeup, and then just using the same products until they're done or until you're bored. I think that can really help you empty a lot of products and also actually decide whether you like them and whether you want to repurchase them or not. But that was everything for this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about these style of videos, and if you have anything you would like me to film in this type of tone, anything you would be interested in, let me know down below. And there's definitely gonna be makeup inventory update happening in a month and a half's time. I filmed the last one at the end of June, so at the end of September. Yeah, so in a month and a half, there's gonna be another makeup inventory update, so you'll see how my numbers change. There's actually quite a lot of changes. And I can't wait to film that for you. And yeah, comment down below, like this video, subscribe, have a wonderful day, enjoy your summer, and I'll be super happy to see you tomorrow. Bye guys!